All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to our explainer on what is, without a doubt, one of history's absolute greatest unsolved puzzles, the Lost City of Atlantis. People have literally spent their life savings, launched specialized submarines, and dedicated their entire careers just to finding it. So today, we're treating this like history's ultimate cold case. We're going to stick strictly to the source material, track the evidence, and break down exactly why this mystery still completely fascinates the world thousands of years later. We'll map out the geography, the ancient texts, and those modern scientific theories that keep the investigation alive. So get comfortable, focus in, and let's start uncovering the secrets of Atlantis. Okay, picture this, a city so incredibly advanced that it absolutely amazed the ancient world. We're talking about a massive, powerful kingdom filled with magnificent palaces, unstoppable armies, and technology that just seemed impossible for its time. And then, well, as the source text describe with pretty chilling precision, it vanished. And I don't mean over centuries of slow, gradual decline. No, it was entirely wiped out in just a single day and one night. It just disappeared beneath the sea forever. It's this sudden, catastrophic end that really hooks our natural curiosity, right? Was Atlantis a very real place that met a horrific end? Or was it just a masterfully crafted story created thousands of years ago? Now, what's really interesting here is that this legend didn't just start out as some modern Hollywood blockbuster. It actually first appeared more than 2,300 years ago in the writings of the legendary Greek philosopher, Plato. And he didn't just place it in some magical, faraway fairy tale land. He claimed Atlantis was a powerful island nation located specifically beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which of course is what we know today as the Strait of Gibraltar. By placing it right there, Plato brilliantly grounded this epic tale in real-world geography. I mean, he gave it literal coordinates. And honestly, that specific detail is exactly why so many explorers have taken this story quite literally for centuries. And this brilliant setup really highlights the fatal flaw of the Atlantean civilization. Our sources describe a society that was just unbelievably wealthy, highly intelligent, and technologically advanced beyond measure. I mean, they engineered complex canals, they lived among these grand temples and massive palaces that were literally decorated in gold and silver. But there's a profound turning point in the ancient texts. As their power grew, well, so did their greed. The people of Atlantis, who were once so noble, became deeply arrogant and corrupt. So this wasn't just a physical empire anymore. It was a society that was essentially rotting from the inside out, completely consumed by its own massive success. And that creeping corruption brings us to the dramatic climax of Plato's account. Because that arrogance and greed, it did not go unnoticed. The texts tell us that as a direct punishment for their moral decay, the gods unleashed absolute destruction upon the island. We are talking about devastating, earth-shattering earthquakes and cataclysmic floods. It was the ultimate wrath of nature. In that terrifying span of just a single day and night that we talked about earlier, the entire corrupt island was swallowed whole, just completely disappearing beneath the ocean waves. The story tells us it was erased from the map, sinking down into the dark waters forever. So, because Plato actually gave us those geographic clues, explorers and historians haven't just treated this as a story, they've treated it as a literal treasure map. People have searched deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, right where the name suggests it should be. Others have hypothesized it could be hidden near Greece or off the coast of Spain. And incredibly, some even think it's buried under the ice of Antarctica. But despite centuries of massive, extremely well-funded expeditions crisscrossing the globe, the result is always the exact same. No undeniable evidence, none. It has completely evaded discovery, which is exactly what cements its status as history's ultimate cold case. But what if we've been looking at this entirely the wrong way this whole time? What if the literal search for a sunken city named Atlantis is actually blinding us to the truth? Well, this brings us to a massive aha moment in our explainer. Modern scientists and historians have introduced an incredible ancient plot twist, the Minoan connection. So instead of a mythical kingdom in the Atlantic, researchers suggest Atlantis was actually inspired by a very real, incredibly advanced ancient civilization known as the Minoans, who lived on the island of Crete right in the Mediterranean. Suddenly, we're shifting gears from a purely mythical hunt to concrete, modern archaeological and scientific theory. To really wrap our heads around this connection, we've got to look at the timeline. Around 1600 BC, there was a real, scientifically proven, just massive volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera. And this eruption was catastrophic. It caused enormous destruction and generated these monstrous tsunamis that absolutely devastated the nearby Minoan civilization. Then, centuries later, about 2,300 years ago, Plato writes his famous story of a wealthy island nation destroyed by floods and earthquakes in a single day. You can clearly see the disconnect in time, but the striking connection in the actual events. It is highly probable that the very real, terrifying disaster of Thera was passed down through generations, eventually inspiring Plato's dramatic account of Atlantis. So the crucial point is that today, experts are largely split into two main camps, and I want to empower you with the facts from our sources so you can actually weigh this evidence for yourself. First up is the historical inspiration theory. This is the scientific belief that Atlantis is essentially a dramatized memory of the actual Thera eruption and the fall of the Minoans on Crete. Basically, a real event, just exaggerated over time. Then on the other side, there's the moral allegory theory. This one argues that Atlantis was never ever meant to be a real place. Instead, it was a purely fictional thought experiment created by Plato, a philosophical warning about the dangers of pride, greed, and the inevitable downfall of overly powerful and arrogant civilizations. Both of these perspectives are absolutely fascinating and deeply rooted in our historical sources. Regardless of which side you lean toward, the reality is that the search continues to this very day, and it's actually driving some amazing real-world scientific discovery. I mean, we're now using incredibly advanced underwater technology to map and explore the deep ocean floor like never before. And sure, while no one has found a sign saying, "Welcome to Atlantis," this technology has led to the discovery of literally thousands of real shipwrecks. We are finding actual ancient ruins hidden beneath the waves. The ocean is actively giving up its secrets, which really only fuels the fire. It's exactly why the story of Atlantis continues to inspire countless books, movies, and documentaries. The myth is very much alive, pushing explorers to keep diving into the unknown. Which leaves us with this final, somewhat haunting question. Could Atlantis, in some form or another, still be waiting to be found beneath the deep sea? We've seen how a single disaster can wipe out an entire civilization, and we know our oceans still hold vast, completely unexplored territories. So until undeniable evidence is finally found, or until we manage to map every square inch of the ocean floor, the lost city of Atlantis remains one of humanity's most fascinating and enduring mysteries. Perhaps one day, the ocean will finally reveal its greatest secret. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this structured dive into the sources has given you a whole new perspective on this incredible ancient puzzle. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.